Oh, hey, good morning guys, how's it going? Erica here from Highway 49 RC. Today we are doing yet again another motor rebuild. I'm sorry if this gets repetitive to some people, but I love it, I don't care. I'm going to keep doing them because I like to do it. Today we're going to be rebuilding a Trinity Speed Gems to Opal. It's a 10-turn triple motor. It's in good condition, however the endbell is quite dirty. Lots and lots of solder flux residue that's going to have to be cleaned off. I can't see the commutator as usual. That's one reason that I like the original Speed Gems endbells, is because you can see the commutator really well on them. The Speed Gems 2 motors, you can't, unfortunately. The brushes look like they are going to be reusable, which is good. A little bit of stuff to clean up on the solder tabs, but that's no big deal as usual. So, with that, let's jump right in, tear this thing apart, see what it looks like. We can start by pulling off our brush springs and taking a look at the brushes, seeing if they're going to be reusable or not. I think they will be. Looks like there's a lot of material left on them, as long as they are not worn too crooked. So that is one reason to not reuse a brush, is if it is worn crooked, you'll then wear the commutator unevenly, and then your brush just gets worn even more crooked, and it just kind of perpetuates the problem. Yep, looks like they're worn nice and square, lots of material left. I don't see any problems with them, so we should be able to reuse them. I will give them a quick rub with an eraser though. It's an old slot car trick. You can use the eraser on a pencil and it will temporarily clean off the carbon buildup on electrical contacts. There is a product called a comm stick that essentially does the same thing. It cleans up any deposits and darkening on the comm itself without having to turn it, but again, it's just a temporary solution. With our spring post removed, we can pull off the brush hoods and heat sinks. And as I mentioned, they are quite filthy, mostly solder flux and just residue and deposits. So we can clean that up pretty easily. The brass brush, plop that one there. And we can finally pull off the end bell and see how we are looking inside this Opal motor. Alright, and grand reveal. Comm looks gorgeous. Absolutely fantastic. Looks like it's been cut once. Maybe once? No, I don't think it's even ever been cut. That's amazing. That looks really, really good. Go and pop the armature out of here. Like I mentioned, this is a 10-turn triple. There's some shims down the bottom of the can I'll have to grab out momentarily. Check that out, you guys. That is super clean. Doesn't look like it's ever been cut. There's a little bit of wear on the edges of the comm segments, but honestly very minimal, all things considered, especially compared to our last motor we did, which was quite chipped. But this looks fantastic. Should only take a couple passes on the lathe. I don't feel much of a lip there at all, which is fantastic, so this should be a pretty easy cleanup job. With that said, I'm going to throw in a time lapse, put some music on, get some of these parts cleaned up. Shouldn't be too bad, just scrub them down with a bit of contact cleaner and brass brush like we found out the other day. Alright, we got all our parts cleaned up very nicely. End bell in particular looks so much nicer now that it's all clean. Nice and bright purple, I'm really digging it. But some of you eagle-eyed viewers out there may notice that I was cleaning a third brush hood, or you may just notice that I've got a second one here on this side. As you can see, there's a small chip out of the corner of it. It looks like someone took a Dremel to it or something of the like. So I want to make sure that we have a good solid point to solder to in the future. So I grabbed a spare one out of my spare parts bag and got that cleaned up. Had to clean off a little bit of solder, scrub it up, but it looks just as good. So I say we head over to the electronics bench and get this commutator turned up nice and clean. Alright, let's go ahead and get the lathe all set up here. Get it plugged in. Let's grab our little drive belt, get that around the armature and down onto the pulley on the motor. There we go. That's running nice and smooth. Put a little bit of oil on the armature shaft, so make sure it's lubricated in there. And back our tool off. I think we should be good to go here. Got to roll over the edges of our comm segments now that we've got the comm turned. Make sure that there's no burrs on there because that can cause our brushes to chip, which is not good. Then we've also got to clean out the slots in between the comm segments, get all the chips out of there from getting it turned, and just other debris in general, because brush motors really are not a fan of debris. With that taken care of, gotta get our bearings lubed up in the can and in the end bell. I'm a big fan of using a pencil to spin the bearing and then just let the can and the end bell spin on the end of the pencil. Saves you having to just fiddle it back and forth with your fingers for half an hour, you know. Give the end bell a little bit of TLC. Run that round. Give that a quick spin as well. These bearings are running super smoothly. Clearly this motor has not been run much at all. And to be honest, it's in really good condition. So I've already put the timing ring on our end bell, and I'm just now installing the brush hoods and heat sinks so that we can get the brush hoods aligned. So that's really important. Gotta make sure that gets taken care of. Get that one screwed on there too. But gotta leave them a little loose so that we can actually wiggle the brush hoods around a bit. Make sure that they are all lined up nice and straight to each other, and then also put a old motor shaft down the center of the motor so that we can make sure that they are perpendicular to the armature's rotation. There we go. Now that the end bell is reassembled, we can go ahead and grab our alignment tools. Go ahead and put this guy back on the can for the time being. Get that wiggled around, rotated around to 0. Oh, wait. Okay, this is an issue. Actually, this hood, the hood that I went to replace the damaged one with, is actually a lay-down brush hood. So instead of the brush standing upright, like this, it's laying down on its side. So I guess I do have to use the stock hood, or the damaged one, which is unfortunate, but I guess for now that'll have to do. It'll leave, I guess, a little bit of uniqueness to this motor as well. We should have better luck with our alignment tool now. Ah, yes, much better. Okay, get our motor shaft, stick that down in there. Make sure that slides nice and freely in this direction. Give the brush hoods a little wiggle around, and we can tighten them down. Like I mentioned, making sure the brushes are perpendicular to the motor shaft's rotation. Super important. Still sliding good. Pop this one out. And our hood alignment tool also slides very nicely, so that is fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and put my shims back on the armature, and then we can assemble this motor. This thing is going to look super sweet once it's done. Big fan of the color. It's going to sit on my desk for a little while after, I'm sure. There we go. Shims are installed. Put the armature back in the can. Put the end bell back on. Get that finagled around. And right there should be it. we can tighten that down. And last but not least, our brushes can go back in along with their springs. And there you have it. Fully rebuilt Trinity Speed Gems 2 Opal motor. I say we go give this thing a quick run test. Not in a vehicle, of course, just a little bench run. And then that'll be it. This thing looks so much better than it did. Man. Alright, let's see. Negative on negative. Positive, here we go. Oh yeah, she's a screamer. Man. Hell yeah. Alright, there we go. Motor rebuild done. And there you have it, guys. Trinity Speed Gems 2 Opal 10-turn triple motor has been fully rebuilt. I'm a big fan of this one for sure. I'd say it's probably my second favorite, only to the Onyx. That Onyx was so freaking clean and looks awesome too. Big fan of the black. I really like the purple endbell and can on this. It matches up with the purple on the decal really nicely. I think that looks super trick. We definitely cleaned this thing up pretty good. Helped it out a bit. It looks so much better now than it did, as you saw. It was pretty crusted and just didn't look all that great. But I say it looks absolutely fantastic now. I think I have a kryptonite, I've got an original diamond, I think I've got a titanite, an original sapphire, and a Speed Gems 2 jade. So comment down below which motor you guys want me to rebuild next, and I will do that for you guys. So with that, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you all have enjoyed. If this does happen to be the first video that you have seen by me, make sure you leave a big fat thumbs up, hit that subscribe button as well. And as always, follow me on Instagram, support me on Patreon, join my Discord server, and if you want to support the making of videos just like this one, make sure you become a member of the channel as well. That would help me out a ton and would be greatly appreciated. So, that's all I've got to say, guys. Thank you again so much for watching. Crazy Brush Girl out.